there, you have records, but then there was another mention that you lost records or records were stolen. So do you have the records?
Well, we're working on getting the PO signed for engine one. He's gonna sign it, it'll get sent down, he'll get copies.
Okay, but in terms of the rest of the maintenance records on the vehicles and the work that's been performed?
I believe Rescue 6 was done, and you got a copy of that? Yes?
I don't want to get involved, but I think you're looking for complete records for those vehicles.
Correct.
Right. Not just what's coming forward.
So Rescue 6 was done, and we got a copy of it, and I'm sure Tommy's got a copy of it. And engine 5 and engine 3, I believe, are current.
Do you have a copy of maintenance records for the vehicles, Tom?
Not complete.
What do you need to make them complete?
All the maintenance records, which really is quite easy.
Isn't it amazing how everything is simple, Tommy?
It is. In fact, you can use the copy upstairs. And there, I can get someone to do it for you if you'd like. Return all originals back to the firehouse. But we are missing some records. They were stolen.
Yeah, those have not shown up.
Right.
Those have not shown up.
So do we want to make progress here, gentlemen? Do we want to move in the right direction? I'm sure we do, right? Is it too much to ask for that list of qualifications and certifications and the member roster and some maintenance records so we can maybe overlook a couple of these and move into the service level agreement?
How about if we move to the service level agreement and you get your stuff? See, understand, we jumped through a lot of hoops for Tommy, and we've never solved anything. You see, that's the problem. See, when I had the joke about us being held hostage, he's holding us hostage. That's the problem.
Joel, no one's holding you hostage.
That's exactly right.
And you've got here an emergency service agreement between the town and the fire department. And yet we don't know what that fire department is comprised of. We don't know members, we don't know the qualifications. I mean, I've got some members now, I mean, it's obvious, the core 6 or so that you have. But, you know, you want us to sign an agreement here, and we need this information. You need a roster, you need certifications, you need to know what kind of equipment, you know.
Did your wife ever have it?
Excuse me?
Did your wife ever have it? When she was first selectman?
I have no idea.
She never had it, and we never had a problem.
We're not looking to create a problem.
All
We're just
we've had.
looking to be informed.
All we've had is problems. You can come over and look. Until we went through the trucks, we'll take you through any truck you want. This is one of those things where Tommy wants to be in charge. He needs all these things. He doesn't need these things. It's always been kept over there. The fire department's kept it. Other fire departments keep all this stuff. You don't typically need this. It's just that someone feels they need to have it.
I think part of the problem was, it was shown in the OSHA investigation that was initiated by the fire department, Vinnie and Joel, that there is a reason why we should be looking into this. There was 10 citations. I mean, you can blame the physicals on me if you want, but the only reason they weren't done was because I didn't get what the certifications of the personnel. But the rest of it are very serious, and they should be taken care of immediately. And I think by having those 10 violations, it does raise the questions of what is actually going on within the fire department. What do we really have here? If you want to enter into a service level agreement, especially something as extensive as this, I think there's some questions that have to be answered ahead of time and not afterwards. And I think that's what we're looking for.
I get that.
Do you want to recess and see if we can get some of that information?
No, I don't feel I need to do that.
Okay.
You want to talk about doing some aggressive membership recruitment?
What did you have in mind?
What would you like to do?
Well, what did you have in mind to recruit membership?
You and I are going door to door, I told you that.
That's one way. What else do you have?
I have no idea. Tommy's into this too. Ed Dorset's got a big plan. We're gonna have an aggressive membership recruitment drive. What is that?
I can certainly spit a few ideas at you.
Oh, I'm all for it.
Sure.
Okay.
We have a social media presence, I would start there.
Uh-huh.
Then I would move into mail print or print ad. Then I would look at a fundraising event where you're also pitching recruitment. And then your last case scenario can be your door-to-door.
Well, we have social media, and we send a mailer out,
How often do you send a mailer and where do you send it?
usually once a year, and usually it's to postal patrons, as I recall.
And how are you targeting those postal patrons? Just direct door, everyday direct door through the post office in Morris?
Just through,
Postal
it's just
patron
bulk mail,
Morris.
postal.
How about other local towns that are border us to get some membership out of there? I think you have some members outside of town, don't you?
Yes, but the problem is, you can't do a bulk mail that way, because as far as I understand it, you do just a postal 06763. So you fire out a postal zone, it's only to that zone. If you fired it to Watertown, it might hit somebody in Oakville, because it's not, you can't, it's not a zone, it's, you have to get the 06795 and whatever the last four digits are for that section. I wouldn't have a clue how to do that.
How about in terms of encouraging some of your current membership to bring in friends or acquaintances?
I specifically don't have any friends, and we do tell people to come.
What about people that you've lost? Is there a chance of talking to them?
There are some people you're happy to have go on, so there's some truth to that. And again, it's possible to get people back, and there's times when they just realize they have other things to do. You know, this is a lot of commitment. You take your 60-hour EMR class that Tom had, you gotta pass it, and then you gotta commit to it. You know, one of the discussions we had last time was, has anybody joined LVA? Well, you gotta join a different organization to help the town of Morris. Tom didn't join LVA, did you, Tom?
Not yet.
It's a lot of time, it's a lot of hours. He has to go up there, they have drills. This is not just I wanna do it once a week and show up at 7 o'clock till 10 o'clock and you're done. This is a lot of time.
It's well worth it.
Well, no, it's worth it. I mean, we provide training, you guys provide training, we get money in the budget for it. We get physicals, it's a perk, it's a small perk. You know, it's worth it for people to do it, but there's a lot of time involved, and it's a lot of time away, it's a lot of commitment, and everybody's busy. You got a lot of taxes to pay, you got one job, two jobs, kids, you know, the fire department is well down the list at that point.
Can I jump in?
Go ahead.
One of the points in Dorset's report was that daytime coverage is tough, and came to a couple of incidents where Morris trucks didn't even get on the road during the day. And I understand that. I understand the EMS was an issue, that's why they're staffing. How does the town feel about either requiring or asking the highway department to respond to calls during the day? You got the immediate past chief of department on the highway department. And maybe they don't have to go running into burning buildings, but they're all CDL drivers, I assume, and they can get the truck to the scene, and that, you know, 90% of those calls can probably be handled without.
Well, in terms of requiring them to do it, he can't require them to do it, right? We can suggest it, and then that goes back to old membership, right? In terms of reaching out to some old membership to see if they're willing to come back in.
The town of Warren, a requirement to be hired by the highway department in the town of Warren is that you have to join the
Is that a union?
fire. I believe so.
We'd have to renegotiate the contract with that.
I don't know.
And it has to be the willingness to.
Yep.
So, I mean, to require someone, I think they're really pushing. But if they're already hired, I can see it. If they're not hired, they agree to that requirement.
We do have ordinance that allows, I didn't bring it obviously with me. It's in the town ordinances that town employees are allowed to leave and go to fire calls, come back. And I think it's a no harassment clause, it's worded in that way. It's pretty reasonable.
Not loss of pay.
Now loss of pay, that's it. And there's another one in there too, but I can't remember what it is. Just look in the town ordinances, there's two in there that address firefighters that are employees, and there's another one in there, I can't remember which one it is.
Well, there's another ordinance in the town that requires you to turn over a roster of membership for tax abatements. So if you turn over that roster, I don't understand why we can't put certifications next to those names and cross this one off our list. It's not a difficult thing to do.
Well, that's like that simple thing.
Like I said, if we've already turned over the roster, we can certainly put certifications next to there, and then we can check this one off the list.
Chris? Not everybody that gets a tax abatement, not every in the department gets a tax abatement. So the tax abatement list that goes over, isn't it?
It's not an accurate roster.
Well, it's not
Yeah.
complete. It's
It's
not
not
a
complete,
roster.
yeah, we had 10 people that made the tax abatement this year. Those same 10 people made the pension. To get the tax abatement, you have to do 100 points a year. We give points out for calls, we give points out for meetings, we give points out for all sorts of stuff. You have to attend 6 drills, 4 monthly meetings, and there has to be 1 per quarter. That's to make the tax abatement. To make the pension, you have to be an active member. It's 6 drills, 4 monthly meetings at 100 points. So it's just a little less. And 5% of the calls for that tax abatement also.
So it's a safe assumption that those 10 people on that roster list are probably your most active members.
Correct, yeah, no, I think the lowest one was 101 points and the highest was 200 and something, but it runs the gambit from, you know, the making the 100 all the way up through. And again, you get 10 points for being an officer, you get 3 points for being on the committee, you get 2 points for a call, point for a meeting, point for drills, point for work nights, with points for everything. If you are roast beef dinner, if it's longer than 2 hours, you get a point for every 2 hours. Because if you're gonna be there for 4 hours, I only got a point. So it's kind of, we adjust it. We keep track of all that stuff, and Tommy gets the approved list, and I think you got all the points too.
Well, back to my point, if we have that list, right, we can't expand that list a little more and put the certifications and get rid of, knock this one off the list?
Our ordinance doesn't require it.
I understand the
Just like-
ordinance doesn't require
Just
it.
like being a union thing.
I understand that doesn't require it. My suggestion is so we can move forward here, because that's what we're looking for, is progress. To get that one off our bullet list, we are that close to do it, can we get that done? Can we push it over the hill?
I can look at,
We've been looking into it, can we recess now and look into it?
if you look, the executive committee of the fire department approves pension and approves tax abatement points. I'm just one member of 7. So I can say, yeah, it's a great idea, I still have to get them to go with it. I'm not the king, just remember that.
This is something that I've been asking for a while in this committee, and actually previous to now. So it seems like there should be some either confirmation of the request, of yes or no, by now.
Well-
Because it's nothing new. We've been talking about, at least with the committee, for 4.5 months. And way before that, for myself. Was, as you said, you know, you're waiting for physicals, and I was waiting for something from you.
Well, yeah, but our physicals are important than whatever you were waiting for, and I don't even remember what it was. But you're holding us up for physicals, that's critical life safety.
I gotta work both ways, please.
Sure. I don't think we were voted at the executive committee anyways.
So I guess that's a no for the committee.
That's a definite no. We
Um,
can't get by this
I mean,
most
We
simple.
should be here tonight. It's been 4.5 months.
Let's just say no for that one. I can bring it up.
Well, I'm not a quitter, right? And I don't want to resign from this advisory committee, but I certainly am here to make progress. And if we're not going to make progress on these simple bullet points, and one we are so close on, which is that roster with the certifications tonight, I'm not sure what we're doing here.
I wasn't really sure what we were doing here when Ed proposed it with a group of 8 people, because if you've got a split tie, you're not gonna solve the problem.
I
Actually,
thought
think
we-
that was the point, was to have the majority agree to something.
Well,
By having it
that's why-
split,
that's why you have an
that
odd number.
means that both parties would agree to something.
I said, we have a partial list already. So it's not like keeping any secrets or hiding anything. It's halfway there.
I don't think it's a secret as it is. Again, you can look all these things up, they don't change that fast.
We can get it there tonight. We can get over that hill. It's not a hard push to
I
do it.
understand negotiations, I'm not interested.
Okay, so you're not interested in negotiating at all?
That one little thing, I'm not, you
On that
pushed
thing.
4 times tonight, I didn't know.
I just wanna make sure,
Let's go to the next thing.
because like I'd mentioned, I thought we were here to move forward, right? And
Right,
that was the
you got
point
it.
of this committee was to hit these charge
And we're
points.
gonna go with a service level agreement.
And as
in there, it guarantees all our stuff, and it guarantees all your stuff.
We can't talk about a service level agreement
All right.
until we get these charge points out of the way. And right as of now, the only charge point we have is an inventory, if you can call us an inventory. And your willingness to obtain at least the R1 first responder status. But back to, we don't know, because we don't have a current roster with certifications, if you even have the people to put forward so we can start to pursue the PSR.
Well, you understand, you're not pursuing it, it's the fire department pursuing it.
Well, just a minute ago, you had mentioned that you needed the town support behind you to pursue that with the
Yes,
ambulance.
and we need a lot of members new members.
So
We need the town
that
to
would mean
support.
that we are pursuing it.
We are pursuing it, correct.
Right.
So, yeah, and we're not gonna say, yes, we're ready to get the PSA until we have the appropriate amount of members. So we can fill it all out and get it ready to go and send it in, but I wouldn't send it in until you have enough people to actually take over the responsibility of that.
Well, I wouldn't be comfortable with our town leadership signing off on this unless they knew for a fact that we had at least the minimum amount of bodies able to cover that.
Well, but it wouldn't get sent in until we had the amount of people for it, because when you apply for the PSA, and this is where the problem became a problem last time, when you take away the amount of money you have, say for example the daytime coverage, or you lose a whole group of people that volunteer for it, that's a big liability, and you hold, whoever holds the PSA has that liability. So when the town cut the money, that was where the problem started, because we were handling nights with the group of people we had. And then the town cut the funding because they thought it was entertaining. Bad mistake, liability, get rid of it. That's why we lost the ambulance. So we would not take the PSA back until we're ready to take it. And it's a monetary evaluation for a daytime crew if we needed it, or if you need it on the nights or the weekends. So we're not gonna take it back until we're ready. So you could sign it today and say, we're doing this absolutely, and we're not ready for it today. So we're not gonna rush into it. So don't worry about the liability, we're not gonna take it until we're ready.
Is there a plan to host a EMT or EMR class in town?
There's been discussion on it.
Okay.
The person we normally use said she would do it, and I think you talked to someone about it too, didn't you?
There's one either coming or just started down in Watertown that we're invited to put people into, next month.
June, that's right, it's
And
June.
if we did have a significant number of people, Chief, would be willing to take the class, we could host it here again like we have in the past.
We have hosted in the past, and it's a lot of hours. Like I said, the EMR class is 60 hours. You get into the EMT class and it's 180, 200, and it's a lot of hours. And it's a lot of time and it's a lot of commitment. To host it is not a big deal, but you gotta get somebody to get into it.
So how about the fire department does a campaign, like was just discussed on social media, and see if there's interest out there to get some sort of number together as to how many people you can get in this class?
Yep. No, like I said, we absolutely need people to do it.
What has been the membership change, would you say, in the past 6 years? Up, down, and growing, or?
No, it's been down, but it's a wave.
And that's nationwide.
Oh, I understand.
Yeah, no, it's been an interesting time. I would say it's down.
Do any type of exit interview with former volunteers that were part of the department?
I have not. I've read about that. It's probably a good idea to see why, but I have not done it.
I mean, it could be numerous, factors in that. It'd be interesting to understand what is happening with our volunteers.
Are these people local? A lot of the people that have left.
I don't know. I know some are, yes. Now, in a move to attract volunteers, would you relax the bylaws at all to get them involved quicker?
This is the, let's get rid of the 12, this is back to the, rescind the portion of the bylaws that states that a newly elected members can't vote at meetings in the first 6 months of their membership. Is that where you'd be going?
Isn't that what your bylaws state?
Actually, we changed it to a year.
Oh, you went to a year?
And a lot of places are a year. And it was a year 20 years ago, they changed it back to 6 months. For 8, 10 years, it's been 6 months, and it doesn't affect anything. If someone's gonna join, they're gonna join to help the public to get the training. And if they take a 200-hour EMT class, well,
How much?
200 hours?
Oh, $200, $200.
No, no,
It's
no.
about $800.
Well, it can be more too, but if they get that much time invested, they're interested, they're gonna stay.
Would you change your bylaws to perhaps allow kind of like co-membership between departments where, say, a member from an adjoining town would like to be part of and respond to fires in Morris Fire? They get checked out on the equipment, of course, properly and driving, everything, but not necessarily are held to the same, I guess, needs that you have for your regular members, like all the meetings and all the drills.
If you look in our
I'm sorry, I
bylaws,
can't hear you. What's that?
we have in our bylaws reciprocal membership, and I think it says 4 drills instead of 6, and I think it might say three monthly meetings. The reason you want to go to these things is you want to know who's doing what. If you show up when there's only a fire, well, who's this guy? I have no idea who he is, but if you come to 3 drills or 4 drills, I think it's fine.
That's kind of what I was leaning towards.
Yeah.
You
We've
do have
had-
something there that allows a member of another department to join yours
We've had
without all
reciprocal
the same.
memberships for 15 years
Do
probably.
you have many of those?
Yeah, I think Bob Evans, because Bob's the member
Plays them.
of Torrington, Litchfield, and us. So, you don't get a lot. And again, there's other departments that don't do it either. If you're a member of Litchfield, and I haven't read their bylaws in a while, you can't be a member of Morris and join Litchfield. But they softened it so that their members can be Banham, East Litchfield, and Northfield, because they were having the same membership problems as everybody else. So I don't think they have it, but they deal within their 4-department group, East Litchfield, Northfield, and Banham.
And just think of ways that you could, increase the membership. I know there's a number of members that live in Morris and join other fire departments outside of the town. It would be good to maybe be able to pull them back to the Morris Fire Department in some way.
Yeah, I know I talked to one of them once, quite a while ago, he's moved away. And he had enough doing just their drills. He said, I don't want to do anything else, I'm happy to come mutual aid, lived in town, good guy. But he said, I don't want to join both, because I just don't want to do more. So, and he would come mutual aid, we'd see him, we knew who he was, obviously.
So what else have you done in, say, the past 6 years to increase the membership of the volunteer fire department? Besides the, I guess, your social media, you're referring to Facebook?
I'd say yes, and I know we've sent flyers out.
Flyers?
Flyers,
Yeah.
I haven't gone door to door in years.
You do any recruitment events? Mixers, things like that?
Yeah, we do the open house once in a while, twice a year, depending on what year it is. When you do Fire Prevention Week, we go to school. You don't get a lot of members, obviously, from 1st through 6th graders, but you come in contact with a lot. I know the fire marshal has a handout that they regularly, that's in their budget, fire prevention, stop, drop, and roll, and they give all that propaganda, for lack of a better term. And then we usually do at least one open house that same time. It's usually well attended. You might get a member or 2 interested now and then, but it's more of just people are out just checking out what they have. And again, it's a lot of time. People know it, a lot of requirements.
I read their bylaws, I thought they were pretty good. Looks like you've got consideration for people who are unable to attend meetings, shall be given special consideration by the executive board.
Actually, if you look at reciprocal membership, it's right in there. Flip to the next page.
See that? Is this the newest, 2016?
It's in there.
It is?
That's probably what's in
Yeah, no, I think it's in the next page.
Director honorary, if retired,
Retired honorary junior auxiliary.
active reciprocal.
Oh, here we go. An active reciprocal member shall be an active member in good standing of a fire department in the town adjacent to the town of Morris, or may be an active member in good standing of any fire department as long as the individual is actively employed in the town of Morris or is living in the town of Morris. They shall fulfill all the requirements of Article 8, Section 2, active members. Except they must attend a minimum of 4 drills per year with the Morris Fire Department.
No mention of meetings. Okay, so we gave it 4 nights, right? I got half of it right.
Where do you wanna go from here, John? In terms of our talking points, we've gone through, and you don't want me to continue to beat a dead horse, but I'd love to ask you for that roster and certification one more time.
Chris,
Other than that,
that's not in there.
Joe, could you
other
be,
than that,
Roster's not in there.
Excuse
a
me.
list of
Could
qualifications.
you be
Dan, hang on a second, I'm working for me, you hang on a second.
Volunteer fire department, don't.
It's not in there, it's not in the ed report.
It's right here, Mr. Rask.
Stop.
It's not in the ed report.
For 4.5 months, I'm not here to argue with you or anyone else.
I'm not arguing with you.
So like I said, guys, like I said, where do you wanna move from here? I know I understand you wanna go through your service level agreement. Is that what you wanna do?
No, you can take and absorb it, because we could just go through it, cross it off. At some point, Tommy should send down the attorney to look at it and see what he says. Our attorney's already gone through it, except for the more recent changes, so we should probably have him re-review it.
So do you want the advisory committee to go through this, or you want
No, I
to
would
go
have,
through attorneys on this?
I would have Tommy go through it with the attorney and see what he says. Our attorney already went through it once. You know, we can argue over good or bad or indifferent, or let's change line 6. Line 6 may not affect anything.
And you've gone through the service level agreement that the town offered?
That 10-minute project that you took so much time for,
Same as the Watertown
We-
service level agreement.
we read it and rejected it, that's correct.
And that's a large department, right? Like $870,000 budget.
Sure.
That wouldn't work for you?
Yeah, no, you don't understand how they work. It's a little different than here.
Okay.
What was your question?
obviously as chief, you know the names of all these people on this roster that we're looking for and their certification. You know that,
Probably closer.
right? And you wouldn't be willing to
I just-
recite that?
I just don't think it's necessary. It's one of those things where you never had to worry about it before. It's our responsibility over there to take care of it. If Eric comes up to me on a fire scene and he has his gear from Kent, I know who he is. He says, I'm going to a burning building. As a fireman, as an officer, I'm allowed to say, yes, I need your help, and then he's covered under our workman's comp. If I don't know Chris, and he runs up and grabs some gear off a truck, he says, I'm going in, I'm gonna say, I have no idea who you are. You are not going in, because I'm responsible for that person. So it's not you that's responsible, and it's not Tommy that's responsible.
Actually,
Well, you can
the
say.
town is responsible. The town is the
Town's
employer
liable.
Well,
for the volunteer firemen.
I agree
You
with
do
that.
The
understand.
town's directly liable.
But again, it starts over
When-
there.
When the
So-
lawsuit hits, you know where it comes.
Sure,
Right.
and it's gonna stop here.
And that's
With
why
you.
I have grave concerns over the certifications and the training for volunteer firemen, as pointed out in citations from OSHA.
Eric, do you think that that's unreasonable, an unreasonable request?
In the town of Kent, we provide a roster to the town for workman's compensation.
Sure.
All it is a list of members. It doesn't say anything about their certification. That's the fire department's responsibility.
So the question about certification came up because we were talking about a PSA for the ambulance and whether or not we have the staff to run it.
But the state won't award the PSA unless they're comfortable that you can run it. And applying for the PSA, you have to go to the state OEMS, and you sit down, and it's a round table, and there's 2, 3 of them, and you have to say, I have X amount of EMTs, X amount of DMRs, I have X amount of CPR people, and during the day, if I don't have people, I have contracted daytime coverage, or I rely on volunteers. And if you don't meet the requirements, the OEMS will not give it to you.
I
So
understand.
it's an extra shield that you can't just say, I want it, and they don't give it to you. You have to prove you can handle it.
So back to what our goal is here, right? Is our goal to get a service level agreement in place so we can get moving in the right direction? Would you agree that that's
I
our
believe that's a
goal?
step, correct.
Okay, so if Tom were to take this tonight and sign it and hand it back to you, right? That would end this, do you think? And everybody would start moving forward in the right direction, we can look at getting going, no, just talking hypothetically.
I understand.
We both know he's not gonna sign this tonight, right? But you would agree that's our end goal here, right?
I would say.
Okay, so in order for him to sign this, put yourself in his shoes, right? He would need to know that there's a roster of people behind you that have certifications in place and qualifications in order for him to comfortably sign this, knowing that the town is well protected. Would you agree with that statement?
And to get the PSA, we could not obtain the PSA without having all of the appropriate information, and the state requires it too.
I agree.
I mean,
So because you're gonna provide that to the state, do you think it's to provide to the town, we can do that? I know you understand where I'm going with this.
No, I'm ignoring.
I know. I know you. It's not gonna make you.
So
not
would
push
you-
it,
No,
right?
I know. You're
I'm
gonna keep
pushing,
about it.
right? Because that's what we're here to do.
Huh?
We're here to get this to an end, and we just need a domino to fall here so we can get the train moving. Do you think we can knock that one down?
No,
I have a
I'm
white
gonna,
pad right here. Do you think we can,
I'm gonna stick with a no answer, because I'm entertained by it.
can we take a 10-minute recess and maybe you get with some of your crew and put that together right now so we can step in the right direction?
I'm not really interested, I already said no 3 times.
But you said no 3 times in the PSR too, and tonight it's a yeah. Now
Actually,
you
I
wanna
lost
do
that
it,
one.
right?
My
Okay.
people said they were
So
definitely
maybe we
interested.
take a 10-minute recess and maybe talk to some of yours, and maybe your membership has a different feeling on this than you do, right? You wanna take 10 minutes and think about it? Because I gotta use the bathroom, so that's a great excuse, I'll give you 10 minutes.
Oh,
We
well,
recess for 10
I'm
minutes?
okay with using the bathroom.
Okay.
Maybe it would
let's-
help if he knew the reason why you want it.
Just so we can have confidence to talk about it in agreement.
Joe, you're asking us to sign a service agreement between the town and the fire department. Is it a viable fire department, is my question.
And can I just interject?
Yes, absolutely.
Do you know, by looking at a roster, how many firefighters and EMTs, whether it's viable or not? I just don't know what the town is gonna do with it.
It's a 2-man roster, you can pretty solidly say.
Okay, It's a 2-man roster,
Right.
but he's told us that it isn't. I mean, listen, I don't know what the roster is either.
Wouldn't it be nice to know though?
Right.
I guess.
You're gonna enter into a service
I
agreement?
don't,